All right, family. I want to welcome you to another family tree. Put your hands together, family. Come on, y'all. Put your hands together.
That's right.
Good
That's
to
what's
see
up.
everybody. Good to see everybody. Everybody looking good, and I hope you're feeling good. And this is Hump Day Wednesday, but also it's a good time to check in to see what's going on in the world. And also, this is, if you're joining us for the very first time, a good time to ask your questions about anything that's holistic health. So I'm going to tone on down with the music. And I'm going to pop up here, Big B, and let's give a hand to my co-host with the most. That is Bill 1L Morgan.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome back,
Yes.
No, and also Prophetess over there, Fingers, aka Lightning. Start calling her Lightning now. And these two people are just so important to the family tree because of the ability that we can actually give this information out to you. So we want to make sure, let me stop sharing here.
Yes.
And we want to get started. And if you are joining us, as I said, for the very first time, this is the family tree. And what we're going to do today, we talk about all things that are natural, holistic, and alternative, and things that which we understand that the perfect system is already created by a genius, and all you have to do is feed the body, and the body corrects itself 11 times faster. That means we have the blueprint already inside of you, but in most cases, we're out of balance. So what we believe in is the immune system. The immune system is your greatest in defense from any and all things, whether bacteria, virus, fungus, sepsis, parasites, cancers, anything, COVID. You can beat all of this by what? Building your immune system, keeping what you already have intact, and you can strengthen that system. So without further ado, we want to get started. If you are someone that's joining us for the first time, if you look down at the very bottom of the screen, you can actually see where there's a menu bar, and on that menu bar, hit reaction. If you have a question, a concern, a comment, a testimony, anything that you want to share this evening, just click there and raise your hand, and we'll put you in the chat, and then we'll get to you. Either Big B up there or Prophetess, who's manning. She's what we say. She's not manning. She's sheing on that side.
She be kicking it, man.
She is lightning on that chat box. So if you got a question or concern, she's gonna put it in there.
I know that's right.
And she'll make sure that you can get your questions. Also, if you are someone that does not want to be seen on here, or you are calling in by phone and you may have missed that prompt where it says to click this button if you want to raise your hand, just let us know and we'll try to get you in. Okay, you can also put your information right in the chat box and we'll try to get it. We can't get everybody, but we'll do our best. If we don't have the answer, we'll try to get it for you, because this is the family tree.
Yes.
We take the ancient concept of the family coming together, and the family comes together because that's where all your problems and solutions are, right in your family. So we gather around the tree, we ask the questions. There are no dumb questions, because the only dumb question is the one you did not ask, right? And we know that your greatest security is what? Your family.
Your family.
Got it? And that's why we call it social security, right?
Yes,
Your only social security is not a check, but it is the family tree. So
that's right.
We want to invite you and be comfort, sit back, relax, get your pens and pads, and we're going to go ahead on in. All right? Big B, tell us what's going on, buddy.
Yes, sir. Let me tell you something, guys, as we always start out with each week, coming from our very, very favorite website, that's encode2019.live, okay? As of 4 minutes ago, our quick facts come off like this. Total confirmed cases, 524,578,109. Total critical cases, 38,332. Total deceased, 6,294,084. Total active cases, 37,992,163. Mental health moment here, Dr. P. Mental health moment. Total recovered, guys, 480,219,454.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes,
Put your
yes,
hands
yes.
together, family. You know, it can show that people are doing well and they're getting better. So that's why we want to make sure that everyone make sure you're muting.
Yes, yes, yes.
We want to make sure that we're keeping the front of our minds that people are getting well. Go to that website that's NCOV. That's NCOV 2019.live.
Yes.
That's the site that you can go to, and from there you can actually see all the things that are going on with all that's happening in the world. So it's a great site, perfect place for what we're actually doing here. It's an excellent place for you to start to make sure you can see all the updates and things that are going on. So make sure you take advantage of that site. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's get started with something on the chat there.
Yes, sir. Octavia says, please discuss the oregano oil. I don't know if there was any specific thing that you wanted to know. Octavia, still there? Discuss the oregano oil. What was it about that you wanted to know?
I'm here. Hi, everyone.
How you doing?
Okay.
I'm well. I just needed to know, I kind of missed the steps when you were explaining how to use the oregano oil. That's it.
Okay, the oregano oil and which I don't know what the conversation may have been because we use it for several different things.
I gotta go back in my notes.
Okay, so if it was for just general purposes, there's two types of oregano oil that not to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease, just food for the soul, but it's actually what we've been looking at, and that is the first one is the oregano oil from North American herbs and spice. That's the one that we have, this oregano with an L at the end, and that's the one I recommend. And there's two versions. One is regular strength and then super strength. Okay, and that's used for oregano can be used for lung issues. It's also good for fungus. Very good for fungus. So what you can do, you can actually add drops to water. You can add it to green drinks. You can also go directly under the tongue. Okay, and then of course chase with water or your favorite 100% juice. Okay, so it's many things that you can use with that. So that's what we're looking at. All right.
Thank you. That's just what I needed to know. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
All right. All right. All right. Frida wanted to know, should I take prescribed antibiotics for backache, which doctors think is an infection like a UTI or kidney, or should I only do an herb?
Okay, say that one more time.
It says, should I take prescribed antibiotics for backache, which doctors think is an infection like a UTI or kidney, or should I only do an herb?
Well, it depends on the situation. I would say there's more information that's needed there. I would have to probe that situation a little bit more.
Frida, was there specifically? You there, Frida?
Yeah, because when you're having a urinary tract infection,
yes, I'm here.
They know that when you talk about regular natural antibiotics, the amoxicillin and all the different ones that they have out there, they've sort of run their course now. They'll do 14 days, but they know that these things they'll knock it down for a little bit, but they come right back. We have now what's called superbugs, and the superbugs have the ability to regenerate, and they keep going. They're going to actually, they're going to regenerate themselves and keep it going. And matter of fact, like I said, keep it down for a little while, then it comes right back. Mm-hmm. So that's why we use the natural antibiotics, would be the golden seal. That's the one we use. So the golden seal root, we have the protocol for that, right, Frida?
Yes.
So, but the part that you're asking about the back, that's something else that you need to be, you have to make sure that it's a structural issue. If it's a structural issue, then definitely you can find out what's going on there. All right.
Well, I've been to a chiropractor, and I'm pretty sure it is. But when I had my annual with my primary care, and he did the blood work and he did the urinalysis, and he said everything was fine, but the back was still aching. So I went and did another urinalysis because he had told me I could come back in another 3 to 4 weeks. So when I went back again, just to drop off the urine, that's when I got a call saying that the doctor found an infection and he's
Never
writing you a
went nowhere.
prescription.
Never went
No,
anywhere. Never went anywhere.
exactly. That's
Never
why
went
I'm
anywhere.
debating whether I should even take it.
Yeah, you know what they do, and this is where I have a concern with the way they're taking the test or verifying. We do what's called the 10SG. A 10SG is a specific gravity test, and from that
Right.
specific gravity test, you can actually see in there, all about 10 different things. That's liver, pancreas, kidneys, all the different things. So sometimes you'll see a little blood in there. It's not something you could see, but it's on there. It's actually one of the blood indicators on there, and usually that's a sign of pre-signs of things that could be things like UTIs. So that, along with issues with white blood cells that are high, because that's also on there, we see it all the time. But here's that same test is considered a subjective test. It's not an objective test. It's a subjective test. But yet
Okay.
nowadays, when you get it from the LabCorp and things like that, when they take this test, they take that same strip and they put it into a machine, and the machine reads it. So
Okay.
a lot of times they miss a lot of those things. So they're not really looking at it. I mean, that's why I say when you come through, I always look at it to say, because a machine can't tell the difference between, certain colors that a human can do. And I
Right.
think that there's discrepancy with that process. So that's why I would say, you can't do the natural way is the way we know that works best. That's the best thing I can
Okay.
say.
Yeah.
And
All right.
for those that are listening, not to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease, just food for the soul. If you're listening for the first time, Golden Seal is a natural antibiotic. We use it as a way of dealing with infections in the system, but also weans out. And it's a total organ cleanse. So it's the root, not the herb. Got it? The root, not the herb. And then when you take it, there's a protocol. The protocol is 2 weeks on, 1 week off, 2 weeks back on, and then you basically quit it for a whole month. Then after that process, you can actually, after waiting a month, then you can repeat the process. And usually that weans out the system, any infections. It also is a total, like I was saying, a total organ cleanse. So it does a lot for cleansing, not just the the bladder, but also the liver, the kidneys. It just does a lot of cleansing. Total layman's term herb, that we use. Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
All
because
right.
he was concerned that maybe I was dehydrated, but all the water I've been drinking, it's no way in the world I could be dehydrated.
Yeah, well, you know what? You always also have to watch holding. We say don't hold it. I mentioned that several times to a lot of folks. Don't hold
Yes.
your urine. Got it? Don't hold it. And when you start to hold it, that's when you have a problem. You build up that heat.
Right.
So basically, that's where we are. All right.
Okay.
And we're trying
you.
to, I would say just stay on top of that, though. Stay on top of that. All right.
Definitely. Definitely.
All right.
Okay, William Reed wants to know what do you recommend for high cholesterol, Dr. P?
High cholesterol, number
Mhm.
one, stay off the oils. That's it. That's the number one. Watch the oils. Watch the oils in your diet. That's why we don't really need oil. And when you start to have oil in your diet, that's going to be a problem. You got it? That's going to be a problem. So the oil in your diet, watch of course, the canola oil, the corn oil, the vegetable oil, and the peanut oil. Those are the main ones that all of the restaurants use. So if you're eating out a lot, yep, that's the ones you're getting. And this is where, and also let me throw this one out here. One that I paid notice to, because we were sitting one day, my assistant and I were sitting there, and he brought in some nuts, and I noticed that I looked at the nuts and it was like roasted nuts, and I said, wait a minute, let me look at those again. They were roasted. If you see nuts, if they're roasted with canola oil.
Mm.
And then I had so many people that said that they weren't wondering why. I said, I don't do any of all that other stuff. You're talking about all this other stuff, doc, but they're saying I have all this cholesterol issues. But guess what? They love the roasted nuts, and that was probably the problem. So watch the roasted nuts. You can get, of course, the ones that are not roasted, you know, the raw. But watch those. Matter of fact, if you have any right now, you can take a look at the roasted nuts. If you have some in your kitchen right now, take a look at them. And if you see on there they roast them, usually it's canola oil. Right? So watch those things. Watch those things. And you remember, it's the liver when you talk about cholesterol. And remember, if it's low density or high density, you cannot. You know, when I mean you cannot. You cannot say there is a good and a bad guy. That can't be it. You know, there's not. They're both good, but if one is low density, gets all of the flack as being the bad guy, it's not bad if the body still makes it. Right? It can't be. If the body still makes it, it's not bad. It's out of balance. All right. So what throws it out of balance? Gunking up the liver. And what is the liver gunked up with? Is absolutely oil.
Yep.
Absolutely. Got it. All right.
Okay, before we go to Dorothy, one that's kind of deep right now, with this being Mental Health Month, is there an herb to treat mental illness? That's a big one right now.
Well, you know, you got to really unpack that, because you got to ask yourself, that has to go through an understanding of what are some of the triggers for the mental health issue, you know, because sometimes it could be past trauma, drama, you know, sibling rivalries. It could be, you know, mother, father. It could be, you know, abandonment. A lot of abandonment we see a lot of abandonment, you know, with a lot of people, and resentment. All those things go with it. So you got to really unpack a lot of things. There are herbs that can help you, you know, to get to those levels where you need to be, and that have been traditionally used for calming and keeping your mind in the right state of mind, and making sure you have enough nutrients so that your brain is functioning properly. So you got to really analyze that situation. You got to really sit down with the person, do a proper assessment, okay, and before you can do anything, because it's not going to be the same for everyone. You got it. Sometimes it may be more physical than mental, and then some people it may be more mental than the actual physical. So you have to see where the person is, and help them with battling with it's the gut. You got to get your gut in order. Dehydration, all the imbalances that happen has a lot to do with the way you think. You know, so we have to look at a probing effect with that. We have to sit down and have that person do an assessment. But yes, there are some herbs. The one thing that you cannot and I say you cannot deal with, anything that's dealing with anxiety, depression, addiction, anything like that that's going on, we usually have something that can help you. But the process that you cannot help is what's called the ritual and the ceremony of what that is doing. Like whatever you're doing, or whatever the trauma, or whenever this thing sort of cycles back around, you know, the ritual and ceremony of it. So we try to give them a good platform and that they can start with, and then we walk, crawl, walk, run, and help them. Okay. All right.
We got Dorothy up in the corner. Dorothy, you there? Dorothy Stewart?
Yes. Thanks for taking my question. Good evening.
Good evening, Dorothy. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. So I heard you say that everybody should take glutathione and alpha-lipoic acid. Did I hear you say that a couple weeks ago, I think?
Well, I was saying that I didn't say everybody should take it. I said it is one of the things that, you know, that is needed when we talk about cleansing and keeping the body clean. Everyone makes glutathione, but to what level, that's the problem. Okay. So glutathione is the natural chelation that pulls and binds to toxins, chemicals, heavy metals, things, and pulls it out of your body. That's basically what it is.
Okay.
So
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's basically what it is. And that's really the problem that we're having right now with all of the over-industrialization of all the foods. You got to get it in and get it out. You know, so that's where we start. So glutathione is a natural, you know, it's a natural antioxidant. It is the highest of all the natural antioxidants.
And should
You can,
take
you
it,
can, hmm
should you take it along with the alpha lipoic acid? Do they
Well,
go?
remember, alpha lipoic acid
Oh,
converts. It can convert to, and it converts to glutathione. So
I
either
see.
or. Yep, it's
I
either
see.
one
I
step.
see.
You take an additional step. That's basically it.
I see.
But
Now,
but alpha
now what?
lipoic acid is also used for the same thing as chelation.
I see. Okay. So what form, if I go to buy this item, what form, what's the best form to get it in?
You can get it in capsule form. You can go to
Capsule?
any herbal store and they'll have both glutathione and alpha lipoic acid. Now, keep in mind, you have this naturally that occurs in the body. So if you take a lot of sea vegetables, will raise glutathione. Sea vegetables will raise it. So
Like
that
kelp?
means kelp, chlorella, spirulina, all those. Yep. Purple dull
Okay.
seaweeds. Yep.
Okay.
Anything of that form will definitely help.
Okay.
Okay.
I just started taking the kelp, so maybe I don't need to. Maybe I'll take the kelp for a while. Or
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. You have options. You have a lot of options there. But
okay.
that's what naturally raises the body's defense right there. That's why it's so
Oh,
good, and it's always good for chelation and pulling out things like, I mean, you have the sea vegetables that help to block radiation. You know, strontium 90. You know, things like,
Hmm.
you know, radiation of all levels. When you're talking about nuclear power plants, that's what they give them. They give them kelp tablets. You know,
okay.
so it not only blocks, but it also now gives you natural to block out those radioactive isotopes that actually can damage the system.
Okay.
So it's a good
Okay.
thing. Hmm.
Okay. Now vitamin D tablets. I know you're not a fan of the hard tablets.
Hmm.
So suppose I have the tablets that you dissolve under the tongue. Is that
Yeah, as long as they just break down, you're good. You know,
okay?
and we're trying to do the vitamin D. There is I did find online a vitamin
Okay.
D2, which is mushroom based. I did find one. If y'all wait a second, maybe I can grab it. Y'all want to give me a second here? I'll see if I can grab it. But yeah, there is a vitamin D2.
Okay.
D2.
Is there any liquid form?
Yep, there's well not that's a good question for D2. I know D3 there is a liquid version.
Is
So
that
you
a
can
good
get
version?
yep, Blue Bonnet is a good brand for that one.
Okay.
The liquid, and you can get 5,000 per drop. So that's a
Whoa.
powerful one. Yep, it's very powerful. So if you just do 2 drops, you know, in the winter, that you're covered. As
Okay.
opposed to 1 drop during what? Spring
Okay.
and summer. Yep,
Okay.
spring and summer. Got it.
And my last question is, if you're deworming or detoxing, what's the timeline? Like, how, if you're deworming, is there a certain, do you do it for a couple of weeks, or like
Well,
you
it's
do
always,
things?
yeah, when you're detoxing of something like that, we always do a 40-day detox. That's the
What do
colon
you do?
cleanse parasite formula, right?
Okay.
Colon
Oh,
cleanse,
thank you so much.
colon cleanse parasite. Try to do more around 30 to 40 days. The 7-14 day cleanse is really, you need more time. You need more
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so very much.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right,
Okay.
let's see
Oh,
here.
all right.
Go
You
on the
get
chat. Let's see what we got on the chat there, Big B.
get on
See the
chat.
prophets? Yeah.
Yeah, probably is put some other things, but there's one here from Claudette said, Dr. Paul, can you please elaborate on what prebiotic and its benefits versus probiotic?
Right, prebiotics, because they give us the ability to set up so that we create the probiotics, which is the way it's supposed to work. So that's the nuts, the berries, the seeds, the vegetables, the fruits. You know, those are the prebiotics. Anything green is prebiotic, which means that that's giving you the proper nutrients so that your body can break it down. And then when you flip it to what? Probiotics. That's when You know, you should never have to get probiotics from something that's tearing down or wasting away, like a probiotic or some kind of a fermentation, or the mammary glands of an animal, which is like the dairy and things like that, or the yogurts and things like that. You shouldn't have to do that because they block the villi. They block the ability for the body to assimilate. So they'll give you temporary relief, but after a while, it'll do some serious damage. I don't know anyone that's not taking like a kombucha or something. They said, I got relief, but I got this problem. It's been following me for a long time. It just never goes away because it'll give you that temporary relief. But remember, you got to always remember, only life begets life. You know, and that if something's dead, it can't do you no good. You got it? So prebiotic is alive. That's the difference. Prebiotic is alive. And then the process of the body tearing down to get rid of and preparing to move out the waste, that's probiotic. Now it's going into breaking it down. Now it's being all the things that it has to do. So yeah, there's a big confusion about that, and a lot of people are seriously acidic from doing that, and they got a lot of issues, especially arthritis, bone, joint, ligament, connective tissue issues, tearing them up. So be careful. Got it? All right.
Okay. I said, as this is Apple Store IP. Okay, what can be done for severe seasonal allergy for a 12-year-old? Medicine makes him aggressive, angry, miserable. Lives in Sweden, but is of
Wait a
African
minute. Say
American
that
descent.
again. This is a 12-year-old?
12-year-old.
And
What can be done for severe seasonal allergies?
Okay, you know, with the 12-year-old, you know, I always say with the children, it's not the children, it's the parents.
Yeah.
Every time, it's the parents. It's what you're feeding. Stay away from the sugar. You got to keep them away from the sugar, y'all. That's it. It's the sugar, the salts, the colors, the dyes, all the candy, you know, and you got this other thing coming in here. You got two things that are here hitting us now. It's the GMOs, and we call the bioengineered ingredients, and the artificial sweeteners like the maltodextrin. You know, the maltodextrin. Until you've checked all those things off, usually that's the problem. You know, children are just like, you know, just like we are. We have to keep a proper amount of balance. And when their young bodies don't receive the proper amount of nutrients, guess what? Their minds go like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they did a study and showed that Doritos, you remember I told y'all about the Doritos?
Yes,
and
yes.
The Doritos and the Mountain Dew? Man, they were saying this thing is driving people crazy. It drives them crazy. You know, it throws off all of the, you know, the mind concept because it's all acidic. All that stuff is acid. So green drink is what we put the young ones on. We put them on a green drink, a good green drink, and then we matched it with their water. Make sure they're getting plenty of water, but stay off those foods. Top 10 toxic foods. That's why I keep it on the list. Just make sure you go down that list. It's usually just not knowing what you're feeding the child. And then, you know, and then sometimes they'll say, well, they keep eating them. They kept finding candy bars all over the place, and they're all in the bed, they're underneath the bed, everywhere. And then I usually come in and say, well, wait a minute. Do they got a job?
Well.
How are they buying this stuff? Yep, they bringing it in the house. Got it? So you gotta check it. You gotta check it, family, because if you don't check it now, then our children, you know, this is the generation where, you know, I think it was announced about five or 6 years ago that this is the only generation that will not outlive their parents.
I hope you listen, family.
Did y'all hear that?
Did you hear that?
This is the generation that
Yeah.
will not outlive their parents. So it's a lot to do with, you know, their food, their dietary, but they're getting it from the parents. The parents, as parents, we gotta start to, you know, put your foot down, say, hey, we're not going to eat this today. Or when you come over mom house or grandmom house or grandpop house, we don't do that over here. Y'all gotta shut it down.
I know that's right.
You gotta shut it down. Yep. And it makes a difference because children feel different. You should see the difference that we see with the children once they've gone through what they've done. you know, they see a difference. They really do. And hey, you know, we go with it and we say, hey, keep them on the right path. You know, the Bible always very plainly speaks about keeping the child on the right path. In all those days of his life, they will never depart from them. If you keep them on the right path, got it? Keep them on the right path. Amen. All right.
Amen.
All right, guys, make sure that you mute yourselves, okay? All right. Deep put something is very interesting. He said, let's ditch the dairy family. You can buy a substitute or make your own versions of dairy. Free milk from non-GMO raw almonds, non-GMO raw hemp seeds, non-GMO oats. Here's one of my simple hemp seed milk recipes, and it's in the chat. So get a chance to take a look at that.
Absolutely. You can definitely do that.
And you know, we're thinking about the whole idea of the milk. What's going on with this baby formula, Dr. Paul?
Yeah. I mean, these strange situations where now, you know, Abbott's went out, of course, and they're being, I hear there's some charges going there. They're possibly, the government's going after them because of, you know, looking at the books and everything about what they're doing as far as how they're handling. Why did they come up with this recall and the things that go with it? But you gotta, you know, we're in a situation when you start messing with the babies, man. This is not good. It's not good. And I know that Biden he just put in an executive order today, I think it was, for, you know, I think that was the only one that's always done during the war times for now mass production. So that's good. That's a good thing that they did. And also they're importing from overseas. So things like the almond milk, the baby formula, it's not the greatest stuff to be given the baby anyway. I just want to go out there and tell that. You know, there's a lot of stuff in there that's kind of toxic, you know, when we talk about it. You know, when you break it down, you know, there's I think let me see if I can grab my list, because I was grabbing my list. I was like, wait a minute, you know, there's a list. Let me give y'all a couple of that. I was doing some research the other day and I pulled up, and I think I still have it. Some of the things that they were finding in the baby formulas. Even though that they're supposedly FDA approved, you know, some of the standards are really, you know, questionable, man, you know, because they do the same thing with water and everything. They have acceptable levels of toxicity. I wait a minute. I don't think any level of toxicity is
that's right.
Good.
There's no level acceptable, you know, but this is what goes on, you know, and this is where, you know, people started, you know, opening doors for each other in politics and things like that. So, some of the things that were found are heavy metals. Yeah, heavy metals found in popular baby foods, and at high amounts, dangerous heavy metals, including the cadmium, lead, and arsenic at high levels. Now, remember, some of these minerals are naturally occurring in everything. So that means that for example, arsenic is something that you can find in apples, the apple seed. But at toxic levels is the key that we're talking about. And they were finding arsenic at toxic levels for children, you know, in this baby formula. So that actually, of course, we know what heavy metal does. That blocks the ability for development of the brain. Also, it messes with the cardiovascular system, and it can also damage the baby's immune system already. Another one, there's another one called melamine. Anybody ever heard of melamine? Yeah, melamine. And it's spelled MELAMINE. Somebody mute yourself. Mute yourself there, Shirley. All right. Gotcha.
Spell that again, please.
Yep. Melamine. MELA, M as in Mary, INE. Now, there was over 300,000 infants have been victims of this thing called melamine, and that's overdosed in a lot of the baby food, baby formulas. It's melamine is what they call a rich and nitrogen, and widely used in processing of things like plastics and adhesives. So, melamine is used to spike milk production in dairy cows. That's what it's used. So the milk is then found in the formula, and with the toxin attached, you can't miss it. It's going to get into the baby's formula because it's an additive to dairy milk, regular milk. And if their formula is made of dairy cow, which most of them are, usually either dairy or soy, they're going to have it. Got it? So, let's see. Some of the soy, okay, speaking of soy at toxic levels, or what we call, when it occurs, it's usually in forms that are, for example, we say soy, it's not the soy, it's the processing of the soy that becomes a problem. So, there's a lot of stuff that they were finding in the processing of the soy. That's why when we say if you're going to have soy, have the non-GMO versions. Got it? Because those are the things that when they take it through a process of refining and things, they actually finding these chemicals in it, like phytic acid, genistein, phytoestrogens. This is crazy, and this is in regular formulas. Got it? All right, so soy, you got to make sure it's an organic soy. And of course, when you're going, next one would be gluten. Now, gluten is a type of bread-based grain, okay? But it's found in foods, including things like rye, wheat, barley, and sometimes breads and snacks. Got it? Now, within the first year, baby's digestive system can't break down gluten. It can't break it down, and can lead to things like, first signs would be like constipation, abdominal pains, things like that. The gripe situations with the babies when they just gripey. They just just can't control. They just, oh man, stomach is tearing up because of the gluten, and a lot of times it's things that are seeping through the processing of the baby's formula. Got it? So gluten, watch out for gluten. Another one would be mineral oils. So I would say if you're someone, these are the things to look out for. Got it? So mineral oils would be contamination of the infant formula. And these are by what's called aromatic. Let me mix this up.
Aromatic.
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 I'm sorry. I'm speaking too fast. My tongue is saying.
Yeah, speaking in tongues in there tonight.
My brain is moving too fast. My tongue is saying I can't keep up. Aromatic mineral oil. They're actually called hydrocarbons. That's what I wanted to get to. The hydrocarbons is what's actually been found in these things, and so that can also lead to diarrhea, poor absorption. We talk about the villi or the villa, which babies are really developing. That's why the milk actually comes in and it brings it to the baby slowly, so that it doesn't hit them too fast. That's why milk from a mother's milk is the best and the only real nutrients that you should be getting. But we understand that there are complications and challenges, so just keep that in mind. Of course, another one would be preservatives.
Yeah.
I mean, preservatives are everything and everywhere. And a lot of times the preservatives are the way they're making them on lines that are highly preservative in production lines, which means that you're going to get, whether you're making it on another line or not, you're going to get some of the crossover contamination from that. And that's usually where the allergies and that infants have, the allergies, food allergies, is where that starts to trigger. Mm-hmm. So, one of those preservatives is that they found was sulfur dioxide.
Okay.
Got it? Sulfur dioxide. And that's the one that that was the one that they predominantly find in as far as the additives. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's see. What else? Corn syrup. Of course, yep. Corn syrup. I just got two more. Corn syrup. Of course, we know it. I did the whole thing on corn in your hair. Corn in your hair. Yeah, corn in your hair. So that actually is corn syrup and the sugar, the maltodextrins, things like that. We always talk about GMOs, and when the GMOs, genetically modified organisms, you got to talk about the synthetic nutrients, because they actually are coming up. With the maltodextrin, right? Do you know I told you they're coming up with another version of the maltodextrin? Did I tell y'all that?
I think you've just mentioned, you didn't go deeper into it.
Oh man, come on, y'all! Y'all gotta be kidding me. They're coming up with this thing called resistant maltodextrin. Resistant. It's resistant, which means that it becomes an artificial starch, or it's an artificial fiber. So this is a synthetic fiber. That's basically how they're going to approach it, and it's going to be listed. Now, write this down. This is very important. When they start to roll this out, because there's been studies about this, and they're looking at it as a cash cow, by the way. They're looking at when they start to add it on food products, you may see it with it titled corn fiber. Corn fiber, or even tapioca fiber. That's what they're calling it. That's the term that they're sliding under to hide this thing, which, remember, spikes your insulin like crazy. This is for someone who's diabetic. You better pay attention to this one. Corn fiber. That may be the next, or tapioca fiber. Those are the two that you got to really be careful of, okay? All right, hope y'all got those. How many did I just give you? How many did I give y'all? That was how many? About? That was
4 or
about
5.
Yeah.
There's more than 5, I think you gave, Dr. Paul.
Let's see. There's more than electrolytes. There was the Fox iron. You ever heard of Fox iron?
No.
Yeah, that's called Fox
How you
iron.
spell it? How you spell it?
FAUX.
Fox.
Fox. Yep. Iron. And that has actually been found also. And they actually use that for, best known for treating anemia. It's basically minerals can be found naturally, but the iron is great to have its ingredients in the baby's formula, but the Fox iron is not. So that's the problem. So basically they're trying to add it as an electrolyte. But it's not working. It's not working though. They're trying to add it as an electrolyte, but they're finding that it's causing digestive issues and long-term cardiovascular issues with the children. Yep, they're finding that, and they've sort of, pinpointed that as one of the problems. Fox iron, FAUX, iron.
Okay.
All right, that was the last one, y'all.
Okay.
All right, let's see what else. Let's tell me, where are we going?
Okay, we've got Robin up in the corner, and we come back and do one more of the chat. Robin, you there?
Yes. Hi, Dr. Paul.
Hey, Robin, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
All right.
Question for you. B12. What is it good for? Do you recommend taking it on a regular basis, and if so, how often?
Yeah, you just take it as recommended on the bottle. B12 is for, nervous system, anxiety, but it's also very good for blood pressure. It's for keeping your body and the neurological aspects of things in balance. And I would just always say, based on the recommendation, always follow it from the bottle first to start off with. And then if you get an assessment and it's determined that you may need more or less, then you go from there. But usually I start with the bottle first, whatever's recommended, and get it from an herbal store. Don't get it from, Rite Aid, because Rite Aid gonna be probably giving you the wrong aid. So don't go there.
Wow.
Don't go there.
I like that.
Don't go there. Got it? So go to a place that's made the commitment to be organic, okay?
Okay.
But it's very good for post-stroke victims, those that had strokes. Yep, very good. Helps them with things like aphasia, You know, when they're just sort of discombobulated, kind of like, you know, back and forth, like what's going on, not able to put things together. B12 really helps with that.
Okay,
Also,
great.
they used to say also, if you go out, you know, if you they always say this stuff is good for the neuron activity. So it's always good for taking before you go drinking. That's what they used to say. Before you go drinking. But nobody drinks in here. I know. Not in here. Not in this one. Boy, it got quiet, boy. It sure did get quiet in here. Got a lot of chuckles though, Bill. All right, let's see who's next. Robin, is that good?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you, Robin.
Okay, Carol.
Carol G.
You're muted, Carol.
You're
You got to
muted,
unmute
Carol.
yourself. There you
Hi,
go.
everybody.
Hey,
Hi.
Carol, how you doing?
Hi, Prophetess. Welcome back, Big B. Dr. Paul, you might not know it, but I am your #1 fan.
All right, so
I
it
hear
takes
you.
care of
I
that.
hear you.
Okay,
Appreciate
now
you.
listen.
Appreciate you.
I'm having a hard time finding Crystal Geyser. I heard they discontinued the 32 bottles. And somebody came on a couple weeks ago and said they had a phone number for delivery. So I don't know if you got that number or not.
Yeah. You mean Mark? Mark came on
I'm
with
not
that.
sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that
but I don't
number-
know about that 32 because let me tell you, I'm still
Yeah.
finding it everywhere I go.
I like
Everywhere I
Big
go.
Lots.
Big lots. I know we have a
Go to
lot of it.
Big
Big
Lots.
lots.
Big
Here in New
Lots. Go to
Jersey.
Big Lots. Big
Where you
Lots has
located,
not a
Carol?
problem.
You in
In
Pennsylvania?
Philly. I've been
Oh,
to
okay.
7 different stores today in Philadelphia.
Did you go to try Big Lots? Okay, try Big
Okay.
Lots. Now
Yeah.
BJ's.
On Baltimore,
BJ's
on
has.
Baltimore Pike.
Are you?
Big Lots.
Are you? Yeah. Are you specifically just looking for that one?
No,
or
I
you
ended
mean-
up buying 18 gallons. I went and got 10 yesterday and I found 8 today. And then I found a case of 24 for $7. Not only do I have me, but my mom is on my trail. So I have to find water for her as well. So I'm gonna get back out there tomorrow. Now, number 2 is that vitamin D2 mushroom and the phone number. If they did have a delivery at some point, I can get it.
I don't know. We have a delivery for that one. The only one I recommend that does delivery would be. I know that Wayne Avenue does do deliveries. He does.
Oh no, I
deliveries.
meant for the water. If you ever come up with that number again.
Oh, okay.
Amazon order. You can order from Amazon.
Yeah,
It was
you can.
about $25 a case on there when I looked on Amazon.
Okay, well, then you have to keep looking.
Wow.
Okay.
Amazon ain't there for deals.
Oh yeah, so I remember
it.
somebody had said that they had a phone number for Crystal Geyser for delivery. And then
Yeah.
the third question is
Try Big Lots.
They're
okay,
out
I
on
will.
Baltimore Pike.
And also
this evening.
ShopRite.
I've been there. Okay, and so thank you. And so the third question is my cat died after 15 years. I had a rough time these last couple of weeks watching him pass away, but Chewy sent me a bouquet of flowers. Can I put that coral calcium in the water to make them live a little longer?
What's that? The coral
In the
calcium.
flowers, a bouquet of flowers.
Hey, I'm telling you, the best thing you can put in the flowers would be the magnesium. That would be Epsom salts. Epsom salts makes plants come. They go crazy when they get that magnesium. Let me tell you. You grab you some magnesium. You would take in a jar, add maybe about 32 ounces of water. Just add about a couple of tablespoons of Epsom salts. Stir it up, let it dissolve, pour it right around the plants. They go crazy for it. And you see development because that's what the green is. It helps the absorption of nutrients to the leaves and the shoots and also the roots. Everything about it feeds the plant. And that's when
But how
the plant
about
is dying.
flowers? Like just water in the flowers. I was just trying to make them live a little longer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You can add the coral calcium just to flowers, like fresh cut flowers. When I have fresh cut flowers, I usually add a little bit of, I have an alkaline water, which is actually, of course, the Crystal Geyser water is good. You can also add baking soda. That actually is good. And you know the little packets that come with that, that's basically some form of alkalizing baking soda of some sort. Yep, and it's a combination. So that coral calcium will do that also. Yep.
Okay,
Coral
thank
calcium.
you.
And also MSM can do that also. That'll
Okay,
help
thank you.
alkalize.
So
Yeah.
it's not true that they're discontinuing the water. Y'all haven't heard that? Am I the only one that heard
No,
it?
I've never heard that.
If they're discontinuing it, that's probably at
I
that
heard it.
store.
I heard it. They discontinued it at Acme.
Oh, at Acme.
But I actually went to Instacart. I went to Google. I Googled Crystal Geyser, and then I went to Instacart, and Sprouts Farmers Market has it for $5.99.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you,
got it.
family.
It's just becoming a hard piece to deliver. Remember now, we are going into a delivery issue, y'all.
Yes,
there's a
big
delivery
time.
issue going on with transportation. You know, when gas goes up, those independent truck drivers are having problems. That's the ones that are, you know, the companies and organizations rely on. A lot of those guys are independent. They have their own trucks. And they have to come out of their own pocket when it comes to sometimes with the gas. I remember one trucker was saying it would usually cost him $1,700 to fill up and to go. I think it was, you know, to do his trips. He says costing him $5,000-$6,000 now just for gas. You know,
Dr.
alone.
Paul, to the manager. I talked to the manager at Acme yesterday about that Crystal Geyser. He said he's been getting so many calls, and there was another guy named, we're gonna get it, and he says it's not them, it's the manufacturer. And he says we have a gallon, so I went to him to the internal water, and they had a few of that. He says, but they've been trying to get it, but it's not on their end. It's the manufacturers.
Yeah, well, like again, but that still goes back to transportation. See, they can kick it out, but the problem is getting it to where they're supposed to go to, and they'll put it on the manufacturer. But the manufacturers are having problems getting it to the locations because they got to raise their prices because of the fact that the truck drivers can't do it. It's all the shipment and distribution and supply.
Side.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's going to happen. It's happening all over. I don't know if y'all need to pay attention to what's going on in the supermarket. You know, you see stuff getting a little slim, you know, in a lot of areas. You know, you look and say, where's all the juice? You know, the juice is gone.
Yeah.
Going on.
That's why they say we need 80,000 truck drivers still.
Yep.
Yep.
We already had a shortage before COVID. Now with this, on top of this, it's putting a lot of folks under a lot of pressure. So, they're having a lot of distribution issues. So, because let me tell you, when you look at what's happening, and for example, look what happened with the Tops Market in Buffalo.
Yes.
That was a hub for so many people in that region. That was their source of food, you know, for that whole community. That's the people not only that could not drive, but usually walk to the market. Matter of fact, some of those victims that were shot were the guys that were actually transporting people back and forth, you know, on a Saturday.
Yep.
So, you know, it's we got to be very, very mindful that these places, when they shut down, it affects everybody on every level. So keep that in mind, okay? Keep it in mind. Stock up, y'all. Stock up.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. When you get time, the D2 mushroom number, if you get it before the night is over.
Let me give you the D2. It's the D2. I'll give you a website. Let me see if I can track down. Let me look at this. Big B, give me another question there. And
all right, surely.
I'm gonna look for this while.
Okay, while you're looking, is brewer's yeast non-active okay to use if you have candida?
Yep.
I've been using it to help with weight gain. Also, I've been eating roasted cashews made with rice bran oil. Is that okay?
Yeah, rice bran oil for the roasted, yes, and non-active yeast. That is correct. That's the one I gave out, which is the Lewis Lab. Lab. That's the only non-active yeast that I would recommend.
Okay. What about nutritional yeast? Is that because one of the other?
That is it. That is
same one.
nutritional yeast.
Okay, Bianca, that also answers your question.
That is,
for
non-active nutritional
cheese.
yeast. Yeah. The brand is called it's Lewis Lab, and it's non-GMO, it's kosher, it's gotten all that. They grow it on beets. That's one of the highest level of amino acids that you're going to find in any nutritional yeast. You can add it to soups, add it to salads, add it to casseroles, add it to your green drink, add it to anywhere. We give it to the malnutrition folks, or you want to get that gut back in order. That will help you. But you got to stay off the other stuff. It's usually the other stuff that's causing the problem. The dairy, the maltodextrin. Oh man, maltodextrin just went straight to my top list. That went straight to the top, boy. Let me tell you. I started looking at this thing like, you know what? This is unfair. Oh my goodness, it's unfair. It's so unfair because people are just saying, I got this extra weight, I just can't get rid of it. I don't know what it is. I'm eating and I'm not getting full, and I feel like I gotta eat more, or when I eat, I feel like I'm getting bloated, gas, all this backup, you know. All of that could be very much that maltodextrin, y'all. Got it? And they're hiding it as a protein. They're hiding it as a protein, you know, and not a sugar, and not as an not as an artificial sugar that causes these dietary issues. MALTODEXTRIN, maltodextrin. Got it?
Good
So
or bad?
no, it's very bad. It's very bad. So if you see it, you're going to see it on everything. You're going to see it on chips and everything. Got it? So avoid it because it spikes especially if you're diabetic. It will spike your insulin. Normal insulin can be anywhere between, a glycemic index can be anywhere from like 60 to 65. That will take you for like a ride up to about a 150, sometime 160 on the glycemic index. You're going to hit the roof. And yes, you're going to find it in protein drinks, in the, you know, the weightlifter, in the health food stores. You're going to find it. You're going to find it in the Nutri-Bars, like the little, the granola bars, like the health granola bars. Yep. You're going to find it there. I'm telling you, it is. But again, this is, we say legislation not keeping up with the times, and they're just working it. They're moving it so fast that they can't make legislation fast enough to keep up with it. You know, so yeah, it's not good. All right. Go ahead. Go to the next one, Big B. I'm still looking for this mushroom here.
Okay. I know Ray was up next, up top up there. Ray, you there?
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Good evening, everyone. How are you, Dr. Paul?
How you doing there, buddy?
Going great, going great. So I had an eye exam the other day, and my eye pressure is a little high. It's 28 in one and 24 in the other. So what do you recommend for eye pressure? Now, quite naturally, they prescribe some eye drops, which I have. I really don't like the effect because it makes my eyes beat red. And so what do you recommend for the eye pressure?
Yeah, remember the eye pressure is, again, you got to watch the sugars. You know, I think we talk about the refined products, because what's happening is they're now, when you have refined products, they're going to, and it's dehydrated, anything dehydrated, it's going to now strip the moisture out of your arteries and veins. So it's going to pull it out of the eyes. And remember, there's small veins and arteries in your eyes. Got it? So they're going to be the first effect. That's why those who have sugar problems tend to see it in their eyes first. Got it? So you got to make sure, in most cases with glaucoma, which is pressure, we see a systemic problem already happening with high blood pressure problem. Did we have a pressure on that, Ray? What pressure?
Yeah, well, at one point I did have some issues, but they've come down. Yeah.
So we always talk about very similar. We talked about, of course, you've been on here a while, so we've talked about the Dr. Christopher's Eye Bright formula, washing the eye, you know, things like that. There is a Eye Bright formula. Okay. You can actually, if you don't wash the eye, you can add the liquid form into your green drink.
Okay.
Okay. You can also have, there's two nutrients that we look at. If y'all give me a chance, maybe I should do a good breakdown on this right now. Hold on, let me do this right now. I got an idea. All right. By the way, that mushroom is a website at www.realmushrooms.com. That's what it's called. Realmushrooms.com with an S. That's realmushrooms.com. That's where you would get the 100% pure organic mushroom extracts. That's the one I recommend. When I did the numbers and saw some of the things that they're doing on that website, it's 100% pure organic, and they have the D2 versions of that. Okay. They also have turkey tail. Remember I did the turkey tail?
Yeah.
Y'all love that turkey tail. I think they just like the way that sound, Big D. I got a lot of calls on that. Say, you got that turkey tail?
Thank you.
All right, so go to that website, realmushrooms.com. Got it? You can order it right from there. And I haven't seen it in any other places. That was the only one that I recommend. They have a D2 formula, organic vitamin D2, and it's only like $14. $14. It's gluten-free, non-GMO, it's vegan, all that good stuff. 300 milligrams per capsule.
Okay. Yep.
That's pretty good. So you remember where you are, right? You know, we talk about, you break that down to, you're trying to get, anytime you're doing that, you remember this is called, remember when you're doing D2, that's not cholecalciferol, that's ergocalciferol, which means plant-based. Got it? And usually when you're talking about one capsule being around, one capsule is somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's see, they give you 3 mushrooms here. Woo, this is a good one, y'all. That's why I was looking at this one. This is very good. This is very, very good. I love this formula. This is one of the best formulas I've seen. Let me look at here. Yep, it looks good. Looks good. Vegetarian capsules. Agaricus mushroom powder, which is very good, very rare. Shiitake, those are the 2 main ones that it's coming from. That's very good. So you're looking at somewhere around, per capsule is somewhere around 1,000 IUs. And you know where you have to be, right? When you're talking about, right now, you're about 5,000 IUs daily. Got it? That's where you're around. So that gives you an idea. All right, family? Y'all got that? Y'all get quiet. Y'all get so quiet on me sometimes. I'm looking like, am I still on?
Yeah, all the info is in the chat, guys.
Is this thing working? Is this thing on?
I don't want to butt in.
Okay, let me just grab this one here. I was trying to do something. Y'all forgot. I forgot my train of thought. What was I going to do? I was going to do something. I forgot. All right. I was going to look up something. I forgot. See, y'all distracted me with this thing. All right, go ahead. Maybe
something about the eyes.
Oh, the eyes. That's right. Man, I need a herb for that, y'all. I need a herb for that.
You got to get some mind care.
On that website, too. Right there, because they got it. They got lion's mane right on here, too. All right. Okay, so the eye care, there is a formula, and I gotta go with this this Nature Sunshine version. Okay, they got a good version because there's a sort of like rolling around formula for what the eyes, they've actually been known that these are some of the things that correct the eyes. You remember that Outback formula that I showed you all that time, that book called the Outback Formula? I gave that a while ago. But there is a formula for eyes. So it actually goes into things like lutein, zeaxanthin. Got it? Zeaxanthin is also a good one.
Spell them words.
All right.
To spell them words.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this, just by the formula. I'm trying to frame it because there's not enough that you can keep writing down. There's too many of them. It's too many of them. It's too many. All right, so I'm going to give you the breakdown of what I would say, the perfect, it's called Perfect Eyes, and it's by Nature's Sunshine. Okay, Nature's Sunshine. And a lot of what they have in there is the combination, of course, the vitamin A, which is the beta carotene, the vitamin C. Only thing I did not like was the fact that the vitamin C was ascorbic acid. That was the only problem I had with that. But write these down: zinc, selenium. Okay, these are things that actually help with the improvement of the eye. Copper. Why copper? Come on, somebody real quick. Why copper? Because copper does what? Come on, not everybody answer at the same time. Come on. Wow.
Get real quiet.
Wow.
Get real quiet.
Wow. Circulation. Yes, circulation. Copper is excellent for circulation, right? Let's see. Lutein. 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 The other one is the zeaxanthin. That's spelled Zeaxanthin. Okay, these are things that you would use for eyes. And of course, any of the bilberry family. So it's bilberry, bayberry, red raspberry, even huckleberry. In that berry family, all good for the eyes. That can help reduce inflammation in the eyes. That can also dilate. They're also, strangely enough, isn't it interesting how God is good? How awesome God is. They all deal with sugar control. They all deal with sugar control. And remember, we said that's the number one problem that people have with the eyes. It's a lot of sugar.
What about floaters in the eye? Does it also work for that?
Same thing. So that's the one that we would do. So it's called Perfect Eyes. Like I said, the only problem I had with that formula was the ascorbic acid. That was the only thing I had problem with. So you can get you a good vitamin C and then add those combinations together for yourself. You can make it yourself. All right, family. Let's see here what we got.
Dr. Paul.
Yes.
I'm on the landline.
Okay. And your name?
Barbara L. I have a question, please.
Okay, sure, Barbara.
Of tendinitis.
Tendinitis has a lot to do with acid. You got to watch your food choices. You got to watch your food choices. Acid foods, acid-forming foods that cause the body to go into a state of acidosis, which means now it's going to go after the tendons. It's going to go after the connective tissue, the bones, the joints, the ligaments, all of that. And that's a lot because the body's attempting to correct itself. Everybody's in a state of acid right now. If I were to tell you everyone that comes through, very rarely do we see anyone that's imbalanced. And very, very rare. Then that's the 6.5 to 7.5 after we do the saliva and the urine. So usually it's very, very rare. And like I said, it's a problem. It can be a problem. So acid-forming foods, that's the go to my website, download the top 10 toxic foods, and then also download the acid alkaline food chart. Stay away from the acid foods. Watch the shrimp, the lobster, the crabs, all that stuff, fermented foods, apple cider vinegar. I go down this whole list every time. People just be like, oh.
Yeah, I want to hear that. What are you talking about?
Oh. Yeah. All of that stuff makes you fired up. See, remember, this is what makes the herb so wonderful when you have anti-inflammatory. Anti-inflammatory, what they do is they cool those areas so it allows it to heal. That's the whole point. Remember, herbs either speed up, they mean they heat you up, they cool you down, or they balance you out. So when you have an anti-inflammatory, what does that do? That's the what? That cools down. Cools down. Yeah, cools you down. So that makes sense all in the world. And that allows the body a chance to now say, now I can go in and start recovering this thing. So if it's cooling down, what's that? Alkaline or acid, y'all? Come on.
Has
Come
to
on.
be alkaline.
It's got to be alkaline. Who said that? Maxine? All right, Maxine. You get an apple today. Non-GMO.
Yay.
All right. Non-GMO apple. All right. All right. Thank you so much.
What about olives? Olives, you know, like those, you go to a deli or not a deli, but you know, these gourmet places and you could scoop out your own olives. Are olives good for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Olives. You mean olives? You talking about real olives?
Real ones, yeah.
This as long as they ain't mess with them. Yep. This long
Wow.
as they mess them up.
And they're a best kind, Dr. Paul, because there's so many. It's the maroon ones, the black ones, the green ones.
Well, I would say the darker is always going to be more minerals. Yep. Darker is always going to be more minerals. The greens, you know, they're, you know, you have to look. You remember I had this thing called Doctrine of Signatures? I remember that thing called Doctrine of Signatures, which means that you look at it and it tells you what it's good for. You know, so that's why, you know, when you look at the color of something, the darker the better, because it's filled with nutrients and minerals. That's like the difference between brown rice and black rice or wild rice. Got it? So it's actually more minerals there for you to absorb. And that's also with the breads and things like that, and the grains, all those things. You'll see the higher nutrients, even in the vegetables, that are higher in when they're darker, like the purple onion, the purple cabbage. Got it? So it's called Doctrine of Signatures, which means either the color, the shape, or it speaks a language. It's nature's language. As above, so below. Got it? So that's where it actually shows you what it's good for. Okay?
Blackberry sweet juice.
Yep. She broke up, but I still heard that one. I know I heard that one. Black and the berry, the sweeter the juice. That's
wow.
Right. Yeah. So definitely that means you know, at some point in time, maybe next week I'll go over the Doctrine of Signatures again, which deals with taste, color, you know, how it grows, the smell, you know, fruit, what actually comes from the plant, and also the stems, all those things. They mean something, all that stuff, the stems and the shoots. So it's very interesting, you know, the breakdown of that, but it's very educational, so that if you ever get out in the woods, you'll know what to look for. So the color of stuff, you'll know just by the color of it what part of the body is good for.
Oh, okay. That's
Isn't that
great.
awesome? Ooh,
That's great.
Awesome.
That's
just
great.
by the color. Just by
Dr.
the color.
Paul.
Yep.
I have a question. Is there a particular magnesium pill that we could take that's like standard milligram, or does it vary on the person?
I would say get the highest form of magnesium from something like alfalfa. That's what I would get it from. I tend to not deal with too many supplements, because supplements can be artificial or synthesized. Or in most cases, they are naturally synthesized because they separated, isolated, or divided it from its original source. Got it? So it's weakened. So usually what makes magnesium dynamic is all the other minerals that it works in the family with. So when you separate, isolate, and divide and pull it from its source, now you've weakened it. So why not go back to the original source for where we get it from? So the highest sources of that would be things like alfalfa. Alfalfa would be an excellent one.
So I'm on the tail end of COVID. I have COVID. I'm on the tail end of it. It's been about a week and a half now, and my body is coming back slowly but surely. But the hospital was giving me magnesium pills while in there, and I was trying to continue to take the magnesium pills because I know that's a big deficiency. So I was just trying to figure out which brand or which kind.
Yeah, and not only this, but here's the other thing. Not to diagnose, treat, cure, preventing is easiest food for the soul. When you start to do with alfalfa, guess what it deals with? It deals with the lungs. Got it? How about that? So it actually specifically raises the the glutathione level. So now it's an antioxidant. It's alkalizing, and it specifically deals with pulling mucus off the body, especially in the lungs. When we give it to children that are colicky from a lot of milk, guess what? On contact. This will amaze you. On contact, the baby starts upchucking it right out. Soon as they put it, it starts coming out. Mucus just starts pouring out of the body. It's amazing. It's a dynamic, and that's because of that thing that we call magnesium. Grows deep in the earth. Nothing grows on land like the alfalfa. They use it for they literally use it for detoxing land. That's crazy.
Alfalfa is in the drink, right?
Yeah, and then they also give it to the cows. When they want to get the cows healthy, they give cows magnesium from the alfalfa. They give them that alfalfa because of the magnesium. Yeah. I had a farmer told me that. He said, man, you talk about that alfalfa, we get that to the cows. And they bounce back, boy, and they start making milk. They start doing everything. Yeah.
Tell her that she's allergic to the certain kind of blood that they had her on.
What was that? I didn't hear. Did she hear, Big B?
I didn't hear. She said something about blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are too many phones. There are too many people who are on the phone whose lines are not muted.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Everybody, if you're not speaking and you're on the phone, please mute yourself.
Okay.
All right.
Also, we want to make sure that we get the people who have their hands up too before we break in, unless you're on the line. Okay.
All right. Okay. So where are we? It's around 8:30. Where are we now? Are we up
it's
top?
8:20.
Back to Lawrence.
Lawrence, yes, huh?
Hello. How's everybody?
Hey, Lawrence.
All right, Lawrence. How you doing, buddy?
I'm getting there, man. Listen, I'm challenged here. I don't even know. It might be something that maybe me and you should talk about, but I'm having a hard time because it just doesn't seem to be enough hours in the day, considering that I got to stop everything, eating and drinking at 7 p.m. When I get up in the morning, one of the first things I do is work out. After that, before that, I might have some oatmeal or something. After that, what I'm really getting to is I'm barely getting down one green smoothie a day. I mean, it's a big one, but I'm getting it. But I'm having a hard time between eating, drinking the water I need to drink. I haven't even gotten into the kidney flush I'm supposed to do.
Well, stop right there. Stop right there, Lawrence. Stop right there. Have you written this down?
You mean what I'm supposed to do?
Have you written everything down in the timeline?
Oh, no.
That's where you got to start. You got it? You got to
I'm
start.
saying, but I'm not hungry. I'm not.
Well, follow me on this. Right. See, if you're waiting to be hungry, you're already going to be dehydrated and malnutrition by the time you feel that feeling. So that's what the whole point is. When you're moving around, you're burning up energy. You got it? Right. So, for example, your car. You got your car outside your house. You didn't move the car yet. You started up, and it's running, right? Didn't move nowhere, but guess what? You're still burning gas. So, just being awake is going to be using energy. So that's why you got to keep in mind when you're moving and doing these things, map it out. Map out what time you get up in the morning. Maybe you got to get up early in the morning. You got it? Sometimes you got to get up earlier. Sometimes you got to stretch it out during the afternoon or the evening before 7 o'clock. That's why it only happens because nobody can answer that question but you. You got to do it by mapping it out. And then you say, this is my timeline. This is what I'm dealing with first, right here. Here's where I got to get my water in. That's the number one thing I would start with. Here's my water. And then from my water, here's my nutrients. Here's my nutrients that has to be getting in. When can I get that in? Here's when I work every day. You got to work out everything first, timeline, so you can see it first. And then once you see it, then you can see things that you probably didn't even notice. You'd be like, man, I didn't even see that right there. So see the vision, make it plain. Got it? Write it down.
All right.
And then start to now make the changes, and then the crawl, walk, run starts there. Because you can't do everything at one time. But you got to crawl, walk, run. Take your time. And that's when people try to do everything at one time. Don't try to do everything at one time. Try to do it slowly and in increments. Because remember, this is transformation information. We've been all taught wrong. We've been taught to do absolutely everything opposite of holistic health. You've been told to drink milk, drink dairy, eat a whole lot of cheese, eat a whole lot of meat. Actually, that pyramid should be flipped upside down. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. So Lawrence, only thing I could say is start there first. Start mapping it out, and then start to say what I can and can't do. Got it? Because therefore now you can give yourself a fair shot.
Another quick, two quick questions. One is, what about, I don't hear you guys talking about vitamin D3.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. We talk about
I've
all
been
of
hearing
them.
y'all talk about D2 tonight, so I was wondering, D3 cool?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We talk about them all the time. D3 and D2. D3, I just talked about it today. We just talked about the D3 today. You must have came in late.
No, I was, well, maybe I missed it. Okay.
You must have came in late, bro. So we did D3, which is cholecalciferol. And then you have D2, which is ergocalciferol. Now, here's the difference. The difference is that cholecalciferol comes from lanolin, which is the sheep. When they shave the sheep, and then what keeps it moist under the sheep's skin is actually that wool is lanolin. But then they'll mix it with essential oils. Now, the problem with D3 sometimes is that if you have an issue with cholesterol or liver issues, remember, you got to break down anything any oils in your body touches your skin or in your body anyway, your liver has to process it. But if you're already having a challenge there, that's going to be a problem. That's why we say go do the D2. D2 is plant-based vitamin D. Got it? And that's one I was just looking for that one, and I gave out the family the realmushrooms.com, which is where you would get that one from, okay? Realmushrooms.com is the D2.
I heard that. I got that.
Yep. So that's the one that I would recommend, okay?
Okay. Last but not least, I've seen the Kidney Man. So it seems as if the chemo I got 5 years ago is really the source of most of the problems that brought me to you in the first place. So then he's not so concerned about the kidneys. However, I do have my white blood cell count is now low. It fluctuates, but it's been hanging low, and it's never really gotten better. Super cool since the chemo. Is there anything you recommend eating?
Yeah. Whenever that happens, remember, we have to always clean the blood. We got to go back to cleaning the blood every time. Whenever you're seeing anything with blood, we gave out, I guess, in the last couple weeks in a row, we've given out the blood cleansers and wills that build blood count. So the things like the alliums, which was the red onion, the garlic, but also the herbs, the burdock root, the comfrey. I gave out bone set. Bone set is another one. These are herbs. There's a list of things that you can do. But again, your challenge is, yes, you went through chemo. So a lot of that stuff we have to pull out of the system. So that's when things like glutathione come into play. You heard me talk about glutathione today?
Right. I do you told me when I do my green thing to put the chlorella and the maca and the moringa and all that. So I'm cool with that. I'm doing it.
So you're good. So that raises your natural glutathione.
Good.
So that's where if you don't buy the actual glutathione or that alpha lipoic acid, you grab them greens. Them greens will start to raise that, and like a dragnet pull that stuff out of you. That's why the sea moss is just doing so well right now with folks, because it's like a dragnet long chain triglyceride. That stuff is just like long chains of just like dragging on the ground, scraping all that stuff out your system, and that's what it makes it so well. So
Should I do the CMOS too?
Well, remember that's in the family. Remember any sea
right, yes.
vegetables, any
Right.
sea vegetables. So that works well. Chlorella happens to be one of my favorites, though. Chlorella.
Well, I got plenty of that.
Yeah, chlorella happens to be my favorite because that actually detoxed a lot of the veterans coming back from war, from things like napalm and Agent Orange. So when they came out of the wars, and that stuff was still in their lymphatic system, those who knew came back and used chlorella.
Okay.
Yep. So.
All right,
stuff.
man.
All right,
Thank
bro.
you very much.
Appreciate you,
it.
brother. Hang
Yes,
in there,
sir.
man. Hang in there, bro.
Okay, Dr. Paul, we're at 8:34 now. I know you need to get your rest. So we got 4 people with their hands up. So how you gonna handle this?
Yeah, we can go through the top row. We'll go through all those.
Okay, Cinnamon, you there?
Yeah.
Cinnamon
Stevens. Cinnamon.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Hey, Cinnamon, how you doing?
Hi, good. I just have one question. I don't know if you already spoke about this last week, but I wanted to ask you a question about nail health. So if you have discoloration on your nails, can you just speak upon that? Like, for
Sure.
instance, like I noticed that like a lot of women, we like to get our nail polish. So I know some of the chemicals change the nail yellow. So if you could just speak on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Watch the chemicals. I'm going to do a whole piece on just, women's health when it comes to dyes, lye, chemical processing, nails. Those things are very, very damaging to the body, especially the nail remover. The nail remover? That has a lot of
Isotone.
chemicals. Yep. What'd you call it?
Hmm?
What did you say?
Isotone.
Yeah, absolutely. It has very chemical effects. Remember, the nails breathe just like your skin.
Yes.
You got it? So anything you put on the nails is absorbed right through to your liver. Everything goes right through the liver. So what does that mean? That means that when you start seeing the nails turn colors, we have a chart that I do a breakdown, and I guess there's no better time than we're going to get to that, of course. But nail health has everything to do with calcium, lack of nutrients in the body. Also, thyroid has a lot to do with that. So nails, skin, hair, and nails kind of go hand in hand. If you see the nails turn black, that's a liver. That's absolutely liver. And that's with any of your nails, that even in your toenails. Got it? If you see anything that turns black, you ever see anybody with black nails? Did you know that Michael Jackson, if you ever see pictures of Michael Jackson, his nails were black.
Black. Yes, they were.
I mean, literally
Always black.
I also noticed that Steve Harvey's nails are black.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's liver. That's liver. That's liver toxicity. Look at their nails. When you see their nails turn really black, that's liver. Yep. So matter of fact, there was a brother that it's interesting because when he came in, his nails were totally black. And I told him, I said, it's your liver. He says, what? And I just thought, he said, he's rough dude. He's like, I thought that was just my nails. I said, no, man, they need to be light. So he came in last week. He came in last week because he was on his, burdock root and all the stuff to clean the liver. They nice and clear. We laughed about it. We said, see? He said, I would have never known. But I said, yes, that's a direct sign that you got toxicity. So some of the things that you can do, any of the liver cleanses, got it? Any of the liver cleanses, I did a list of about 90 of them on my website. And those are, you can go right to drpaulherbs.com, download under where it says downloads, go to the liver cleanse. These are all the liver cleanses or blood cleansers. One specifically, though, would be horsetail. Horsetail. If you want to make and bring strength back to the nails, that would be MSM. MSM. Mary Sam Mary. Got it? That would be methyl sulfonamethane, which is actually organic sulfur. That makes the nails very strong. Okay, and it makes the hair grow too, because it increases circulation. And also, nails can be a sign of circulation also when they turn yellow, or they turn dark.
What was the last one again?
What did I say? MSM?
MSM, yes, you're talking about MSM.
Okay.
So, Dr. Paul, so because you were saying it could be circulation, because I've just noticed that like just my on my feet, just my big toe, the two of them, not the other toes, just at the top of the nail is yellow, and then the rest of it is not. And I know it's like no issue with like fungus or anything, because there's definitely no signs of that. So I was just curious if that could be a sign of anything.
Yeah, but you got to watch that, because yellowing could be first signs of fungus. Okay, that can be first signs of fungus, the yellowing. You know, because it's changing, it's changing its density, so it's starting to break down. So, who was that, Diane? You all right? She said, "Oh,
I just hit my knee. That's okay. Thanks."
That hurts. That's smart. That's smart. So cinnamon, that probably is you got to watch the fungus, okay? Even in the nail, underneath the nail. So if it's at the tip, especially, you know, that could be pre-signs of fungus. So what you would do is, you know, one that's really good for that, for the nails also, would be cinnamon oil. Cinnamon oil. Cinnamon oils for cinnamon. No pun intended. I'm sorry. Cinnamon oil for cinnamon over there. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's cinnamon oil is good for fungus, and also oregano oil.
Okay.
Okay, those are two that are used for that, and usually that, you know, deals directly with fungus.
And you can put that right on the nail.
Yep, that's what we use. Yep, those two combination or one or the other.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, Queen.
Isn't that interesting how that worked
See,
out?
they worked right out, right?
See, I told you, your answer is usually right in front of you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
What I gotta put on my toes? What's my name? Oh yeah. All right, go ahead.
All right,
y'all.
Queen.
Go ahead.
Ready?
All right, Queen.
If you don't see God, you ain't looking.
Well,
You can't see God. You ain't looking. That's what I'm telling you, boy. You put it right in your face, boy. Go ahead. All right, Queen
Okay.
Betty.
Well, I'm coming back at you again with the vitamin D3. I am
Okay.
using this brand called Pure.
Okay, it's called what now?
Pure, P-U-R-E.
Okay,
It's
vitamin
vegan
D Pure, P-U-R-E. Okay, so what was your question? I can't hear.
Now, can I? Betty, you still there?
Betty, you still
Yes,
there?
I'm here. It's a
Okay.
vitamin D3 plus K2.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
long as you're trying to keep it in its natural state. You got it? So remember, if it's vitamin D, you said D3, right?
Yes, you did say.
So it's by the brand is called Pure.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. As long as it's not, you know, you got to look through where they're coming from. Or is this an organic brand? Have they not been processed? Those are the checklist things that you have to go through. Long as it's not been modified in any way. Because it's going to be cholecalciferol. It's going to come from that form. Got it?
Yes, it's as vegan calciferol.
Yep. Vegetarian. Yep. So it sounds good.
Right.
So yeah, as long as it's done, and remember, whenever it's in this form, just watch it in its form. Get it in capsules. Yep. Capsules, not caplets. Try not to get anything hard, because remember, anything hard, your body has to work to break it down.
Right. It's actually liquid, yeah.
Okay.
And I have a report for you that my granddaughter feels good now driving in my car.
Oh, yes. We're talking
Yes,
about
that's
that. Yes.
right. That's right, Queen.
Yes.
So what did you have to do, Queen?
I put the AC on.
Ah.
And then did it work?
That's it.
That was it. It's too
Yeah.
hot back here.
Well, that's
Hot
wonderful.
back
That's
here.
wonderful. Glad to hear that.
Awesome.
so thank
Awesome.
you.
I'm glad. Yep.
All
see,
right.
see, she was probably saying it's too hot.
No.
But
All
see,
right.
you had Queen. You had to have your foot though. You ain't had time to look back there.
Queen was kicking it,
was
Dr.
hitting the
Ball.
gas.
And I did slow down, so that's
She did slow down.
That was
And
the
I'm a
problem.
slow.
You
She
slowed
said,
down.
I'm gonna make a deal. I'm gonna slow down and I'm gonna turn the air on. All right.
Oh boy. All right. Okay.
Oh, great stuff.
All right,
great
Robin.
stuff.
Robin up next. Robin, you there?
Reverse psychology. I don't care.
Dr. Paul.
Yes, we got Robin. Is that Robin?
Yeah.
Yes. What's good for combating fatigue?
Well, remember, fatigue goes back to the liver. You got it? Your nuclear and power reactor of the body is your liver. You got it? It's your liver. That's it. That's your nuclear reactor. That's the only thing connected directly to your brain. So whenever you're looking at energy, you got to also say, am I assimilating? Are you assimilating nutrients? If you're not assimilating nutrients, that means after you eat, you still say, still hungry, still feel like I'm not getting everything. Then that's probably assimilation issue. That's what's causing your energy problems. A lot of people have that. A lot of people have that and just don't know. They have no idea of knowing. So
Right. Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All
Okay,
right,
Rob.
you got it. Delnita, you're the last one up. You there?
Delnita,
Delnita. You got to
Hey.
unmute.
unmute yourself.
There we go.
Can you hear
There
me?
we go.
Hi. Hi,
Hello.
Dr. Paul.
How you
I have
doing?
a question. I'm great. Thank you for asking. You were talking about alfalfa, and my youngest granddaughter has a lot of mucus. How much should I give her, and how often?
Well, how old is your daughter?
She's
Granddaughter?
3 years old.
3 years old. So you don't need a lot with the children because the children, you just add a little bit to their sippy cup. You would get it in alfalfa in the liquid chlorophyll. It's called liquid chlorophyll. Usually the chlorophyll, when you buy it in the store, it's in a little bottle. It's It's basically green.
Okay.
And you just add a little bit. It'll have instructions on there for how to give to children.
Okay.
And usually you just add it right to their, a little bit of their water. And,
Okay.
or their juice, and then comes right up. It's
Okay.
amazing. I use it for my son if he ever got colicky at all, it didn't last long. We got that mucus out real fast. It's on contact because that's what magnesium does. It's the only of the let me get it right. Of the center ions, it does not have to use oxygen to burn. Got it? So not like other nutrients and minerals and things that need oxygen to burn. It doesn't need oxygen to burn. That's the only one. That's why it can open up doorways that other stuff can't open up. Come on, y'all. Y'all got to see God with this.
Oh, that's right.
Come on now.
Got to
Come
see him
on.
working. Got to see him working.
Opens up the doors that
Yes, sir.
other
Yes, sir.
stuff
Yes, sir.
cannot open up. It also burns in places where it ain't supposed to be burning.
Well.
I mean, this thing is amazing. Do you know this
Well.
thing burns underwater? It
Yeah,
burns
that's
underwater.
right.
Like if I always use the example so that people can get a visual. If you see those oil rigs out in the ocean,
Mhm.
where they actually post them down into the deep in the water. Well, they post them by using they got to use drilling and things like that. But then they actually use these actually you'll see the actual torches.
Right.
So you say, wait a minute, how are
Welding-
you using
welding
torches?
tools.
How you doing torches underneath the water? Magnesium tip torches. Ain't that awesome? Awesome. Simply awesome.
So should this be like given to her a day for a week or?
As long as you need it, it's food.
Okay.
Okay, it's food. You can't, as long as she needs it for the purpose of what you're trying to get, which is to pull the mucus off, right?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I have one more question. As I was on here, a friend called and asked about, said the doctor said borderline high cholesterol. What do you do about that?
Yeah, we did address that earlier today. Watch the oils.
That's
would
what I
send them,
said. Yeah.
top 10,
Okay.
give them that top 10 toxic foods.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of cholesterol comes from shrimp. I'm gonna tell
Mhm.
you, it comes from a lot
Okay.
of shrimp, a lot of the oysters, and a lot of and all that oil stuff, that canola, all
Yeah.
that stuff. I mean, we go after the taste. That's what it
Yes.
is. You know,
Mhm.
everything tastes good. If they want something, all they do is put all the chemicals and throw some sugar on it. That's it.
I know that's right.
And it's a wrap. It's good. Everybody. I remember I had an aunt that she used to make this cake, 7-Up cake, right? Y'all heard 7-Up cake, right?
Yes.
But she had this special stuff that she would make this stuff so sweet. I said, she said, you gotta taste it. I said, I don't want it. Come on, taste it. So I tasted. Oh my gosh. I said, you gonna put somebody in a diabetic coma. I called it diabetic coma cake. That's what I called it because it's too much. So watch what we have so much, and we got into so much of this taste. Watch your taste. You got to control your taste buds. And we become emotional eaters. Don't be an emotional eaters. Don't let that, taste buds take you to the grave. You got it? Don't let it do that. Dr. Africa used to always train us. He said, there was a book he had called, on the front of the book, it was called Nutricide. And on the front of it, it had a picture of a tombstone with a crow on top of it. And on the tombstone, it said, here lies Mr. and Mrs. Negro. They ate themselves to death.
Yes.
How about that? You got it? So we're eating ourselves to death because of the fact that we're eating stuff for emotions and feelings and things like that. And you know how we did the whole breakdown of what sugar represents. It's the ability for you giving or receiving love. Got it? So it's a nurturing. It can also be bonding. So be careful. Be careful. Try to just get that under control. Don't eat the stuff every day.
Yeah, that's not me. I'm a vegan and I'm lectin free. So I will pass this on.
All right. Pass it on. Pass it on. That's right. Okay. Delnita, thank you. Appreciate
Thank you so much.
Okay,
All right.
Dr. P, that's it. That's the rundown for the
All
night, my
right,
friend.
that's a wrap there, Big B.
Yes, sir.
We gotta
Yes, sir.
wrap it up, and I'm trying to get on out of here and,
Yes, sir.
and
Get
go
you some
lay
rest,
down.
my man.
Absolutely, but it has been a blast. I
As
thank
always.
everyone. And Big B, tell them how they can support the family tree and moving forward, that we can make this a success. All right.
As always, you guys, to make sure to support the family tree, you can use Dr. Paul's Cash App. That's $Dr. Paul Hop. That's $Dr. Paul Hop. Or if you want to use Zelle to your bank, just Dr. Paul at drpaulherb.com. Okay. And you can also come right straight to the post office box utilizing my name, Bill Morgan, P.O. Box 191, Mullica Hill, New Jersey, 08062. And you got where you have everything, guys. And you know what? It just works. And with that, we can keep everything on the air. He tells you, I'm on his back as soon as we get off the air. Make sure
Yes,
he gets
he
the
is.
stuff
Yes,
to it.
he is.
So
Yes,
I can
he
get it out
is.
to you first thing tomorrow.
All right,
evening.
family.
God
That's a wrap. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in to the family tree. And remember, we just say take all this information and I only charge you with one thing. You know what that is? The truth. And
That's
that you
right.
got to go
That's
tell
exactly
somebody.
right.
All right? Go tell somebody because it may save their life. They save your life or the person you never even met yet. So keep that all in. Be encouraged. And remember, if you're breathing,
You gotta shot. There you go. That's right.
all right. I want to thank also Bill Big L Morgan over there for coming back. Hey,
What's up? That's what's up. Yeah.
And we gotta thank also Prophetess over there.
Prophetess. Lightning fingers. Lightning.
Yay. Thank you so much. And I want to thank, it's always a pleasure to sit amongst the family so that we can talk the way we talk. Got it? So we can break it down the way we need to break it down. I want to say to everyone, continue to do the things that we talk about. The coronavirus is on the rise again. Got it? So you got to mask up. Keep those same principles that we always talk about, which is building the immune system. All right? All right, y'all, we're going to wrap it up. But listen, I want y'all to dance it out. Come on, tap it out, tap it out, tap it out, tap it out. Because Marcy going to make it on me if I don't tap it out.
That's right, you gotta tap it
Tap it
out.
out. Tap it out. Tap, 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 tap it out. Come on down, come on down, come on down, come on down. She will scold. Come on down, come on down. Breathe, 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 breathe. Hey, Kamara, I see you. Yeah. Go ahead, Herb, I see you. Denise, Sheila B. Sheila B. They got up and started dancing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bring it on down, bring it on down.
All right, there you go, Carol.
Tap, 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 under the collarbone, right there. Tap, 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 tap. That's kidneys right there. K27, right there. Breathe.
Yeah.
I want to hear everybody breathe. Breathe. Blow it out. And right behind the sternum, right here. Good. Thymus, right? Breathe. 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 Come on down. Come on down. What's on the left, y'all? Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Come on, nobody say fat. Y'all said fat last week.
Get it, Sheila. Sheila got it going on.
They said fat last week.
Hey.
Left side is what? Pancreas.
Yeah.
And the spleen. What's on the right side? Liver.
Hey, Dr. Lane. Dr. Lane was hiding back there.
Got it. Oh, where's Dr. Liddy back there? Okay.
Yeah, he was back there. Good to see you, Dr. R.
I got you. Tap that arm. Tap that arm. Tap that arm. Tap it out. All the way up to the shoulder. Flip it over to the inside. Inside. Breathe and breathe and breathe and breathe and breathe. And on the side. Tap. On the inside. Good. Hey, Herb, I see you down there, Herb. What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
All right, the last thing, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
All right.
Breathe out. Come on, blow it out. Breathe in, breathe out. One more time. Breathe in, breathe out. And then give yourself a little energy. Come on. I'm going to do an energy bath, right? Just in case you didn't take one today. We just checking on you. Because we care here on the Family Tree.
Hey.
All right, bringing that heat together. Y'all got the right part right there. That's the perfect part right there. That's the perfect. See that heat? Y'all feel that heat? Feel that heat?
Get in there.
Go ahead. All right, and then you stop and raise the top one and keep the bottom still. You feel that energy? I do. It's getting bigger, right? The ball gets bigger. Put it all over you. Wipe it on down. Wipe it on down. Wipe it on down. You feel better, don't you? You feel better, don't you? Yeah. Give somebody else your energy. Give it to your children. Stop acting crazy. Give it to the children. That's right. Give it to the children. You can go in there. You can also take this to someone who's in the hospital. Say, hey, come on. Feel that? Put it over your knee where there's arthritis. Or your shoulder. Got it? Go ahead, Maxine. I see Maxine doing the whole thing. She stood up. She giving the whole bag.
I know that's right.
All right. Don't touch yourself. Don't touch yourself. I know y'all want to touch yourself. Don't touch yourself, though.
Well.
Go ahead. All right. Clap. 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 And stop. Do it again. Wow. Feels good. Feels good. Put it all over you. All right. I want to thank you for chiming in, and we'll see you next week on the Family Tree. All right, good night. Hey, give yourselves a hand, y'all. Give yourselves a hand. Hey, hey, hey. Y'all can dance if y'all want to.
Yeah.
All right, who want to take lead, Bill? Somebody take lead. Somebody take lead. Who's the dancer tonight?
All right. Maxine got it going on, y'all.
I see Frank down there jamming too, man. See, Frank just got the bass lead. He's moving to the side. I see James and Brenda back there. What's up, James? Brenda? All right, D. This is from the Latin Brazilian house. Yeah. This is number 6. All right. All right, we gotta count it on down. All right. Gonna count it down. Y'all ready for a countdown? Yeah. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Y'all kind of behind me. 4, 1. Y'all kind of slow on that count. They like, oh, they got like 1, 1. All right, y'all. God bless y'all. May God keep y'all. We'll see you next week, all right?
All right.
Just on the weekend.
Say cheers.
Good night, little Bill.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful. Bye-bye.